Hi, my dear students. How are you all? Welcome to Vidyanagar Public School's online class. Today, ma'am has come up with a very new chapter. Do you know the title of the chapter? Yes, New Questions and Ideas. Before moving into the chapter, let me ask you some questions. Just tell me how many religions are there in our country, India? You know? Or just tell me or just name a few religions that you are very much familiar with or you know. Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Sikh. You know about Buddhism also. That is also very good. You don't know. You just know the name. Okay. So you know the names of those religions, but you are not so much familiar with those religions. So today, ma'am is going to teach you about Buddhism. Okay. In this chapter, we will discuss the religion, Buddhism, and the great exponent of this religion are Gautam Buddha. And we also see about Upanishads and what we call as Upanishads, and we also get to know about the great Indian grammarian Panini, okay, and his contributions to the Sanskrit grammar we see. So let's see what all things are discussed in this chapter and also learn the story of Gautam Buddha and his life. Okay, are you all ready? Let's move into the chapter. So, my dear students, in this chapter, we will learn about the story of Buddha and his teachings, other thinkers, Upanishadic thinkers, and about Panini also. See, this period is very important because there took place many changes in the life of the people. And in the last chapter, we saw how these Janapadas became Mahajanapadas and the capital city also came, new cities evolved. And in this time, in this period, many thinkers also came. They tried to understand the how these changes are being occurred in the society, what are the causes for these changes, and these thinkers tried to find out the true meaning of the life. So this period is very important. So let's see about the Lord Buddha or the life of Buddha. Siddhartha. Siddhartha is also known as Gautam Buddha, was born about 2500 years ago. You can see in this, and he belonged to the Sakya Gana. Sakya Gana, we saw about the Sakya Gana in the last chapter. Do you remember? In Sakya, there were no kings. There were thousands of people. They ruled together, right? Yes. And each of the rulers considered to be the Raja, right? This is how they ruled and they took decisions together, right? Same way, here our Buddha also belonged to Sakya Gana. And he was also a Kshatriya, you see. He was also a Kshatriya. And he left all the comforts of his home in search of knowledge. So, for getting knowledge, he left all his comforts. He born to a very great family, very wealthy family, very affluent family, but he left all those things in order to search for the knowledge. He wanted to know the true meaning of the life. And for several years he wandered and he held meetings and discussions. And what happened, one day he sat under a peepal tree in Bodh Gaya. It is in Bihar, the state of Bihar. We can see he is sitting under a peepal tree where he meditated for so many years, and at last he attained what we call enlightenment. Okay, he attained enlightenment, and after getting enlightened he came to be known as Buddha or the wise one. Okay, and after that he went on to many places preaching the teachings, and at Sarnath near Varanasi, it is in UP, gave his first sermon. Means he started to teach other people. Eh? Okay. And he spent his entire life educating the people. And he led a very simple life from that day onwards. Okay. Let's learn about the teachings of Buddha. Buddha said that life is full of sufferings and unhappiness. Why he said so? The unhappiness is caused by the unfulfilled desires. When people have constant craving over something, he they will suffer from unhappiness because of their unfulfilled dreams and desires. So he Buddha described this unhappiness or this thirst for happiness or fulfilling their desires as thirst or tanha. Okay. And the constant craving could be overcome by following moderation in everything. He is telling that we have to have some moderation in every desires. People should be kind. That is also his teaching. He also taught that to be kind is very important. People should be kind, and they should respect the lives of other, including the animals. Okay. And he believed that the result of our actions, karma, affect us both in this life and the next life also. And he encouraged people to think for themselves rather than simply accept what he said. And he preached his teachings all in Prakrit language, the language of the poor people, the language of the ordinary people, so that they will also be getting what he is teaching. So he taught in the Prakrit language, which is very simple and understood by the ordinary people. And he also encouraged people to think for themselves. He never wanted everyone to blindly follow him. He wanted everybody to think over something. If something is said by someone, no matter who said this, the person who is hearing has to think over it and make his own decision. That's what he always wanted. And we can see a true story that has happened in his life where we get proof of it. Let's see the story. There was a woman named Kisagotami, and her son got died, and she wanted to get her son back. So, by wandering around, she finally reaches the Lord Buddha, and she asks Buddha for help. But what Buddha said, I'll give your son back. I'll give life of your son back, but you have to give me a handful of mustard seeds. But one condition, you must bring the mustard seeds from the house of a family where nobody has died ever. So the women became very happy. The woman just went from door to door, but wherever she went, she found out that someone or the other has died in that family. So this is the story. This is how Buddha taught the lesson to that woman that death is inevitable. Death is not something we can avoid, we can resist. It is unavoidable, she understood. This is how Buddha taught that lesson. For these Buddhist thinkers, they believed, and the followers of Buddhism, these people believed there is something permanent in the universe that would last even after the death. So the Buddhists believed the life after death. So they described this as Atma and Brahma. Atman is the individual soul and Brahman is the universal soul, and they realize the both are one. And let's see what is Upanishads then. Have you heard the word Upanishads? Yes, many of these ideas of these great thinkers were recorded in these texts. So these textbooks are later Vedic text, and these books are literally means the word Upanishads literally means approaching and sitting near. Okay, and the things that is written inside these Upanishads are in the form of dialogues from a teacher and a student. Like, all these are recorded as dialogues. Most Upanishad thinkers were men, especially the Brahmins and Rajas, but occasionally we can see the presence of women thinkers. For name one, Gargi, who was a famous one, okay, and from the poor family also, the people from the poor family also rarely took part in these discussions. We can see one person, Satyakama Jabala. He is the one whom we can name, and he was the son of a slave woman Jabali. And later, a scholar named Gautama accepted this man Satyakama Jabala as his disciple. And in that period, Satyakama Jabala became one of the great thinkers of that period. And many of the ideas inside these Upanishads were later developed and modified by our famous thinker Shankaracharya. You might be know him. Shankaracharya developed these Upanishads. Okay. In India, we have 6 schools of philosophy. You know which are they? Vaisheshika, Nyaya, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Vedanta, Uttara Mimamsa are the 6 most important schools of philosophy. And let's see about the great grammarian Panini. Who is that? Do you know who is Panini? He was a great grammarian of that period, and he wanted to give a formula for the Sanskrit grammar, and he is the one who arranged the vowels and consonants in a special order, then used these to create a formula like those found in algebra. Like in mathematics, he wanted to make a formula for the Sanskrit grammar, so he was a great grammarian of that period. Ma'am, hope that you understood what all things we have discussed today. So, this is all for today. We will continue the chapter in the next session. Here is your homework.